I wanted to do a video on guitar solos for a while now because I've seen a lot of confusion around this topic. And actually, this video isn't even about guitar solos, because the idea I'm going to cover today applies to any instrument. You just need to understand a few simple things about chord notes. Because after watching this video, you probably don't need to watch another video about soloing ever again. Or maybe that's not entirely true, because this video will only cover the theory behind writing a melodic guitar solo, not any specific technique. But let's begin. Hi, my name is not important. Long ago, in the early years of the Second Age, no, just kidding, that was a reference to, it doesn't matter. Anyway, a long time ago, early in my guitar learning days, I remember wanting to also learn some theory and how confused I was about what scale to use for soloing over a chord progression. I remember thinking that if a song was in E minor, I was supposed to use the E minor scale for my solo for the E minor song. It was that or the E minor pentatonic scale, because that's what so many of my guitar heroes supposedly did. And while that sort of worked, sometimes there's a much better way. And here is where you need to stop what you're doing, if you're doing something else, while sort of half listening to this, because this is key. No pun intended. But the crucial thing to understand when writing a melodic guitar solo is to focus on chord notes, the chord tones, okay? Follow the chords, follow the changes. Okay, what does that mean? Let me demonstrate with a simple progression. Let's do a 1, 4, and 7 in, let's say, A minor. So that's A minor, obviously. The 4 is D minor, and the 7 would be G major. So let's listen. Okay, so that's the progression we'll be working with today, and I don't know if you could tell or if you noticed, but I snuck in a G note in the background, in the pads in the background, over the A minor chord, so technically that gives us an A minor 7 chord. Let's analyze it as an A minor 7. As you can see here, these are all 12 notes in an octave, from A to A. An A minor 7 chord consists of the notes A, C, E, and G. These are our chord notes. And if we want our solo to sound melodic, these are crucial to emphasize. You can almost think of this as a hierarchy of tension, where the chord notes are at the top. Under the chord tones are, in the case of A minor, the other notes of the A minor scale, or the A Aeolian scale, if you will. So that will be B, D, and F. Some of these will be more tense than others, but both D and F are part of our D minor chord, for example. And if you remember the progression, that's where we will be heading next. And the B is the major third of the G major chord we're going to after that. So they will work well within the context of the whole thing, especially in passing while focusing on the chord notes, the notes in the top of our hierarchy on stronger beats. And at the bottom are obviously the other notes, the notes that can sound weird, wrong, or unexpected depending on the context. Now, I could make things easy and just say that these notes should be avoided, but I don't believe that to be good advice. Yes, they're very tense, and yeah, they're very dissonant, but sometimes there's a place for that. Sometimes you want that. In my case, I often want that. I like the notes at the bottom of the hierarchy, but I still use them with care and purpose. You know, it's just like cooking. Know your spices. I should also stress again that this is in the context of A natural minor, or once again, A Aeolian, if you prefer that. There are other modes in A minor that would give us a different hierarchy, such as Dorian or Phrygian, for example, where some notes would move up and some would move down. But, and this is the main point I want to stress again, our chord notes would remain. Our A minor 7 would remain whether we are in Aeolian, Dorian, Phrygian, and that's key because it's our chord notes that will make our solo sound melodic. And remember, all of this was in the context of A minor 7. But when we move to the next chord in the progression, our D minor chord, we do the exact same thing. Emphasize the notes of the chord, primarily, and then use our other spices to taste. And for the G chord, same thing. Focus on G, D, and B, with other notes sprinkled to taste. And I should stress again that the hierarchy is not an actual hierarchy. It's not a rule book by any means. It's just a concept to help us think about these things with some structure or guidance, a way to understand the tools at our disposal better. But enough talking, let's listen to what I came up with. Here's my slow, tasteful attempt at a melodic solo. simple yet effective. Mostly chord tones with a mix of tension notes. You may even have noticed the F sharp over the G chord, for example. There's no F sharp in A natural minor, so I guess you can say I sprinkled some Dorian in there. But I don't really think about it that way. I just focus on the chord I'm playing over, a G major in this case, and choose my notes based on that, and based on where I want my melody to go and eventually land. In this case, it led me nicely down to A on the final A minor chord. I think it sounded pretty nice, and the good thing is you don't have to be a great guitar player to play it or to write a solo like this. It still just works well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and take care. Bye bye.